Hello, and welcome to Kane's Wrath, Command & Conquer 3, 1.03 actually. The map is Tournament Dust Bowl, and let's take a look at our players. In the top, as our, what is that, pink Scrin is R1LDCOM. I'm just going to call him Com. Sorry about that. It's just unpronounceable to me. And at the bottom, as our orange nod, is ThanaTOES. I think this is a pretty standard version of the map. I think this is not the no poker, which is has the tiberium spikes in the corners. Looks like Com is coming out with a ton of buzzers for his tiberium spike, and ThanaTOES is coming out with some militant squads, both taking some buildings in the center of the map there. Meanwhile, ThanaTOES going pretty standard in terms of build. We have another militant squad coming out with a refinery, a war factory, and starting to produce, of course, attack bikes. I thought that we were going to see some harvesters, but no attack bikes. Yeah, it's hard to hold position against a ton of buzzers, thanks to the buzzer's ability to degarrison infantry. So a little advantage to the Scrin there. Let's take a look at what Com is up to. And again, I'm sorry, I just don't know how to pronounce this name. Even more standard, I think, with the double extractor into the one warp sphere. I do know the names of my buildings. Nice scout there from ThanaTOES, and nice timing on that attack bike. We do have one seeker out, but that poor harvester is getting pretty close to death, and there it goes. So the one seeker now, too, is going to be able to drive off those attack bikes, but that was a pretty costly delay there in defenses from Com. ThanaTOES continuing on that harassment, forcing a response from his opponent. Actually, ThanaTOES has to put down his drone ship to get some defenses there, so nicely played by ThanaTOES. Meanwhile, ThanaTOES is expanding on the back of this. There's that refinery. I did not miss it. Coming down. I've been told to calm it down with the camera movements, so I will try to control that this time. Hopefully I don't go overboard with that. Com, I think, still a little thrown by what was going on, trying to do a counter push. I don't know that's going to be successful. ThanaTOES is going to have plenty of time to react to this. There it is, scouted by the attack bikes. Wayward, keep track of your camera. One seeker going down, trading off for an attack bike. Attack bikes pushing back. Actually, counter push not terribly unsuccessful so far, although these militant rocket squads coming out will drive the seekers off and or kill them, depending on what Com decides to do. And we do have scorpions coming out. That's the appropriate response. The seekers are going to pound for pound beat those attack bikes, which trying to find an opening, and with this many seekers, that lone scorpion's not going to be enough. So we'll have to see if he can make something happen. The rocket squads coming up here to catch those seekers. Another one dies, getting pretty low on seekers, and so far, there we go. We got our pound of flesh. One harvester goes down for ThanaTOES as well. Actually, a couple of buzzers in there trying to help take out infantry. Lots of rocket squads going down, but the shredder turret coming up to deal with the remaining stuff. Okay, this pretty much is taken care of. Let's take a look at what else we've got. Pretty close to being mined out here. ThanaTOES is looking pretty good. A second hand of nod up. Actually, first, I guess. He sold off the other one, as is usual in Command & Conquer. Up in Com's base, we have the nerve center up here, and a second warp sphere, unless he sold off the first one. Nope. Seeding some Tiberium for a little bit of extra income. Rocket squad now. Sorry, militant squad. Scouting everything that's going on up here. Nicely done. Actually scouting the drone ship, taking off again to move down for a third. Let's see. Looks like Secret Shrine out, and we have our Tiberium Infusion. Also, Operations Center. So we're moving into the tech phase. And a Flame Tank. I love to see it. I love to see that harass. Keeping your opponent on the back foot. Awesome. This little push is being scouted. Right now it's just a bunch of Seekers, but there are a ton of them. Not great, of course, against the infantry threat, so Com is going to have to respond to this in some way. Losing a bunch of Seekers there to the militant rocket squads. The attenuated force fields, I think, will help with that. I don't see this too often, but we actually have a Foundry out, and as a response to the infantry, we have a couple of Corruptors. This one actually seems to have buzzers attached, so this is going to do pretty good against the infantry. Oh my god, better than I thought. That's delightful. Only one Corruptor down so far, and they killed that entire infantry force. Lovely. Meanwhile, Com does have his third base up. We actually have a stasis chamber, nothing from it yet. Seeker push into the exposed flank of... Oh. Wow. ThanaTOES just said, heck no to that. Meanwhile, we have this flame tank up here doing a little bit of damage and trying to respond with Corruptors. It actually worked because flame tanks are made of paper. This is kind of a busy match. We have avatars out for ThanaTOES. Nice to see. Also, we have air. I feel like this happens a lot with Nod. Nice. We have a disruption tower. I do like seeing Nod players take advantage of that. Also, a transport coming in with a saboteur. I want to try to keep track of this, but at the same time we had something going on up here. We have another attack by infantry. And I think that was some sort of support power there, killing that extractor. Now, where is... just a Venom being annoying. Where is that carry-all? I really don't want to miss that, whatever happens with that. I keep missing things. I'm sorry. We do have Tier 3. I did see the Tier 3 somewhat. It's down here, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. ThanaTOES is going nuts with those support powers, isn't he? Really committing to infantry, which is not great thanks to the buzzers and Corruptors, although the Corruptors are not being used to heal themselves between combat. Also, interesting shock troopers coming out. This is one thing I like about the concept, at least, of 1.03. One of the goals of 1.03 is to give all units a role and to keep them useful and not interfering with each other. And it seems that at least COM is trying to make good on that with use of units not really often seen in 1.02 plus matches. So I don't know if this is lower level play or if it's promising. Anyway, Obelisk of Light coming out to try to defend this. We do have an Avatar coming out, War Factory, to help hold this off. A lot of infantry dying. I haven't caught a Harvester dying yet, but we'll see. Venom getting mad levels from being able to kill infantry and stuff. So, never want to do that. You never want to feed your opponent resources and let their units become elite. That lone Venom is doing yeoman's work. Meanwhile, let's see. It looks like ThanaTOES has transitioned out of air, mass-producing avatars to go against these upgraded tripods. Actually, looks like our shock troopers have been upgraded with blink packs. Black Kane coming out to deal with the infantry. It looks like doing so in spectacular fashion. Those shock troopers all melt immediately. I think there might be enough avatars to deal with these upgraded Annihilator tripod, or yeah, Annihilator tripods. Indeed, there are tripods being driven back. Possibly going to lose another one now. I think it's going to be fine, actually. Let's take another quick look at where we are. So right now, ThanaTOES is doing a little bit better with resources because he's got more of his resources remaining. Plus, he still has a little bit to harvest down here at these two locations. Com is kind of harvested out everywhere except his third. But we're really getting into late game territory with this. It's always a little painful in a game like Command & Conquer 3 where you have hard counters to see two units that don't counter each other attacking. They're just plinking away. These guys are going to die, but it takes a little longer than you want it to. So let's take stock of what ThanaTOES is up to. We have Stealth Tank out. We have a Beam Cannon. I would love to see some commitment to Beam Cannons. I think it's a fun unit. And I feel like we've seen Master Leaf do some pretty cool things with them. Meanwhile, Mechapede out for Com. I feel like Com needs to make something happen pretty soon. Again, it's R1LDCOM. RILDCOM? I don't know. Yeah, see, here we go. Growth Accelerator. Use those racial advantages to your advantage. Stealth Tank possibly... No, actually doesn't kill the Harvester. Might be able to do so with multiple volleys. But at the moment, there we go. Does take one out. So this is going to have to be responded to. Transition, heavy transition into air, actually, for R1LDCOM. With Planetary Assault Carrier starting to come out, that's going to make short work of that Stealth Tank if it can be... Two Stealth Tanks if they can be spotted. Meanwhile, Infantry, I love seeing Nod go Mass Infantry. They do such a good job with it with their upgraded infantry. I do like to see that. It feels like ThanaTOES definitely has the advantage right now. Going for a Redeemer, which is pretty cool. Let's see what comes of that. Actually, I think with the Redeemer... it's going to be really, really hard for R1LDCOM to really make something happen. Just the one PAC right now, and there's not a lot of resources left on the map to produce more. That's funny. Good times. But yeah, this is just a huge army. It's, you know, good... diverse composition, a lot of upgrades, and there is a Redeemer on the field. And there's just not a lot out for Com at this point. We do have the 3 PACs, but the Missile Troopers should do okay against that. Let's take stock. We do have some upgraded Gunwalkers coming out, but I don't think that's enough. A frontline drone ship for, I presume, turrets and stuff. Stole the tripod from his opponent. Okay, there are a couple more Gunwalkers out here, but I just don't... This army doesn't feel like it's ready for what ThanaTOES has. This is a nice army. It's a well-composed force. We do have a Seeker run-by trying to get some economic damage in. That makes sense, and it could help steal focus from ThanaTOES, who right now is looking pretty scary. We have the Rage Gen going out. Actually stopping it by force attacking ground. I think that's pretty clever. So thank you very much, R1LDCOM or COM, for showing me that. PACs go into action. These SAM turrets. Core missiles have been upgraded. SAM turrets going into action, and the Redeemer looks like he has a Missile Trooper and a Saboteur loaded up, so repairs and anti-airs. Things not going terribly yet for our Scrin player, but not great also. the sheer weight of this tier 3 is doing a pretty good job. And yeah, that looks to be pretty much our Scrin players' army. The Storm Column, while impressive, is not really going to stop this army by itself. ThanaTOES actually pulling back. Feeling that he can pull back is telling, I think. But we have artilleries as well as Specters. Yeah, this is going to make things pretty bad for our Scrin player. And I think this probably is the end of it. Now, I don't know for a fact, but it feels like, maybe it's just this match, but it feels like in 1.03 Plus, the Tiberium regrowth may have been slowed down slightly on these maps. I feel like in a 1.02, you see more consistent long-term economy. Actually, this is pretty bad. You've got a harvester coming across the map to harvest from his opponent. Yeah, these gunwalkers not going to do much against this tier 3 army. But yeah, at this point, I really don't see what options R1LDCOM has. Like, he really is just out of money to be able to continue to do anything. He's got a couple of shock troops, but that's not going to do a whole lot, unfortunately. This idea of being able to harass is fine in the early game, but with this sort of large force, with this really long-range attack capability, yeah, so there's just a bunch of gunwalkers just went down. Seating himself with some more Tiberium. We have a crap ton of stealth tanks coming out to finish off the remaining harvesters, and this drone ship is going to bite the dust as well. Unfortunately, it'll take it a little while longer. Shock Troopers doing okay against Specters, but that is only one of the many threats that our severely overtaxed Scrin player is going to have to try to deal with. And this is clearly nothing closely approaching a balanced fight. These Shock Troopers are doomed. Beamer's been healed up. There are a ton of avatars, like just a ton. And R1LDCOM throws in the towel. So, not the most dynamic match I've ever seen. R1LDCOM definitely felt like he was overmatched, I think, is fair to say, by ThanaTOES. We did have some good trades. You're going to see that, I think, with Scrin, especially against all those infantry, where you've got this huge number of units, and then they dramatically drop. Actually, R1LDCOM did better in terms of income the whole time. ThanaTOES really cost-effectively trading against his opponent. This might be part of it. R1LDCOM maybe didn't sell off. I don't know. I don't know. You'd think as the commentator I would have some thoughts on that, but it's definitely possible that R1LDCOM could have been more efficient with selling off his buildings. But yeah, I felt like the best of Command & Conquer 3, what I love so much about it, is you have these crazy trade-offs and comebacks, and in this match, it really felt like toward the end, there just wasn't any resource. There's nothing left for R1LDCOM, and maybe it was that he didn't invest in the Tiberium spikes early enough and had issues with regrowth. There were a couple of attacks that didn't really kind of go anywhere for R1LDCOM, and he traded pretty inefficiently and lost some units. But I feel like the game really needs to be able to allow the player to do that. You know, I think it's not great in an RTS where you know that if you lose your army, you're going to lose, and it really forces you to play more passively. And I feel like that a more passive play style like ThanaTOES kind of transitioned to in the later game, where he said, come to me, throw your army at me, and lose it. That happened enough times, and R1LDCOM just couldn't recover. I feel like that's a problem. And I do think faster Tiberium regrowth would have helped keep R1LDCOM in the match longer, and it wouldn't kind of have petered out like it did. But anyway, not the worst match in the world, and it's always good to be back with one of my favorite games of all time. Hopefully you enjoyed this. I am Wayward, and this is Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath 1.03. I almost said plus, but stopped myself. Saved it. Anyway, this has been Wayward, and I will catch you next time.